This is Elise, and good evening one more time. I'm doing this a little bit of a different way because I tried twice on Facebook, and immediately the signal was just lost. So now I'm here, sniffles and all, just taking a little bit of video that I will upload. But here's the thing. Imagine that you are a man who meets this woman at a particular time in life, and you have a child. You have a child together. Imagine that you are also a man that has an older child from another woman. Imagine that the first woman, you've known her from the age of 13 years old, and that she too has an older child. But again, the two of you have a child together. So imagine the age of 13, innocent, fun loving, having good times, knowing her family members from church because you grew up in the same church. And then all of a sudden, at this age, a little bit older, you guys come together in your 20s, perhaps, 30s, perhaps. Whatever the age was, you came together and the child was born. So imagine maybe things didn't work out the way that they should have worked out, or the way that you thought that they would work out, or the way that you may have wanted them to work out between the both. Was there any animosity? Was there any hate? Was there disdain? Was there vengeance? All of the above. So what if you already started out by giving everything that you had? From the time that you were young, you were already giving. The young mister, giving and excited. But through it all, into adult age, abused, misused, mistreated. And when we say a young age, not necessarily by the hands of that woman that came of age at the time that you got together and had a child, but at a young age from another person who infiltrated the lives of both of you. Interesting. So here it is, the child that you guys have together, 14, 15 years old, 16 years old. And you, Dad, have been trying for the long haul to be in his life and make things right. Not that things were not right before, but working 2 and 3 jobs, trying to make ends meet for your own responsibility to your child. But here's the thing, the mother has always said, you don't have to do anything from the beginning, but then makes you do everything to the point where you can't even live your life in peace. Always on the move, always on the go. No stop, no rest, no nothing, but then still trying to be in your child's life. But that older child of hers from another man, and then later on, your own child at some point, old enough to see, to hear, to listen, and go from innocence into a state of whatever mother says, jumps in on the attack. And you can't prove it. It's hard to prove because it's your son. So, in order to make up for what it is that mom said you never had to do, the mother of your child said you never had to do, whatever she asked you to do, you try to do it. But she's in a position in government where she's able to connect to this one and connect to that one. And she's actually putting you out there all this time, setting you up so that whatever it is that you do, you can complete it, but then you get snagged, profiled, put in jail. So it builds a record. And at the same time, she's laughing and she's joking and she's scheming and she's planning because she really hates you. Or she painted a picture. And to everyone that she can, she tells that you're crazy. Everyone. But here's the flip side of it. What is it like when you try and you know that you have a heart to do right by your son, by your family? And every way that you try to do it, you're snagged in the process. But along the way, you were always giving. Give your toe. But you never really documented or got receipts for anything. You didn't think it was necessary. And all along, she wasn't really asking. You were just doing. But then you got into another relationship with somebody else, trying to live your life. You guys are not even together. And so this woman with your son will snag you every which way. Every which way. And you never ever said a bad word about her. Never. But coming, going, she's always in the mix. Always. But not only that, she connects with even the people that you're currently with. She connects with other family members and her own family members. When we say family members, your family members, who try to pretend that they're not and infiltrate your older daughter, keeping you away from being a part of your older daughter's life and your grandchildren, so that when you come up to see them, there's always drama. You end up having to leave and go back home. So you can't even come around the old block that you lived. And then the word gets out and has been going out for years that you would be a blessing to any and everybody. Just call them on the phone or just let them know. And they sabotage even the friends that you have, that you've had when you were a young person. They don't invite you to anything. They take advantage. And then when they see your sister, or they would see your mom, hey, how you doing? How's he doing? But you would think that they would know. And then one of the neighbors, oh, he's in jail? And you're like, what? No, not that I know of. That's your sister. And then your mom, she didn't even know where you were sometimes. And she was so just staunch that she didn't want people to know that she didn't know. But then in all of this, there are those factors and people trying to make it look like everybody in our family or in the family are crazy. So it paints a nasty picture. But it's so not true. Well, how do you prove it? How do you prove it? And then with all of that, still trying to work and still trying to live and trying to do whatever, So you go from one level of beauty to another level of beauty, but it's not where you're used to being. And then those ones who are upset, mothers on both ends, are laughing and giggling and joking. And then those other family members, some of them, who are in cahoots with your children and grands, they all get together and laugh and joke about the whole thing and use the money and just make up lies, and you're quick to give. Quick to give because it sounds like it's a good thing to do and you want to be known for doing the right thing because that's your heart and that was how you were brought up. And then imagine all of the time that you got put away or some things are going on, you beating up on yourself because you allowed these people to do this to you, but it was innocently done because you were trying to do the right thing. And maybe they even threw their kids and yours. One being yours and maybe the other's not. That's for one mom. But then the other moms, using them as a tool to get back at you. So then you come to the conclusion, you know what? I don't want them anymore. I don't want them because I don't want to go to jail. I don't want them. But the truth of the matter is, it was all a setup by the mom to get you to that place. One moment wanting you to be in your children's life or your child's life, saying it above board, but underneath it all, using that whole scenario to control. And then here steps in a family member to support you. And all along, you've been kind of like on your own. And mom, for a long time, thinking that you were down with your family, but many times we're not. And you didn't want to worry or bother anybody. So you handled it alone. So here it is now. You made a decision. I don't want him. I don't want him because I don't want to go to jail. And all along, the family member that has supported for a time or came in to support, finding out more, always been with you through life up until adulthood and everything. At some point, thinking also that you were there and mom had it straight. She didn't want to worry me. She was worried for me. And she was in the dark about you and some things and couldn't put some things together. But those who infiltrated knew. And then there were others on the outside who knew too, but they didn't know the whole story. So now the mom is keeping things low, not saying nothing to anybody. But in her past conversations, even when the support would come and say, look, I'll take care of the bill. Just give me the information, whatever it is, for 5 years or more. In communication, pretty much. More than that, but off and on. But to this day, never got any information. And to this day now, not even to this day, but at some point just cut everything off. Because she enjoys the control. She enjoys the manipulation. She enjoys the tearing down. On the surface, making it look like we are all guilty and we are all crazy. And underneath it, pulling all the levers and all the strings usurping authority, even those people that she knows in other places of authority, on the inside and on the out, family and other people who are associates, stopping you and your other family members to a degree, every which way that they can, to cover up the truth. So when you're making that decision, you don't want him. Doesn't sound like a bad thing, but in your heart of hearts, it's not really what you want. But to save yourself and save your life, this is what happens, and this is what her activities, the mom's activities, bring. But it makes it look like you are the crazy one, because her every word is, the police gonna pay for it, the police gonna do it, and you're crazy, and you know his head ain't all right, and you know he pees on himself. But the truth is, what are your choices? Either continue to be a part the best that you can with the authorities overlooking, or either just say, I'm done. And either choice is yours. I need you to know, I understand. The sad part about this is that the children as well are affected and affected. The other sad thing is how it is that people can be made out to look like they are just out of their minds, because people want to continue to control not just persons, but control finances, control monies, label you, make it look like you can't take care of yourself, make it look like you just don't know how to make any decisions, and all of that misuse and abuse psychologically can tear a person to shreds, especially if you know that you have a good heart. And then wait a minute, let's forget the good heart. Just that you have the will to do the right thing and have tried really hard. So now everybody's against. And that support that was there is made to look like they are the culprit. So even with the child that you have released, there's no communication, because it still has to play out on the mom's side that there's this great reason why there's a disconnect, because they are crazy. But where does crazy really lie? When a mother can say stuff in front of her son or in front of her children. Where does crazy lie? When the police department pays for everything. Where does crazy lie? When during the times that there was communication with the child and the support, everything was about material things. And when we spoke about things that were educational, there was a stop to the communication. And it was made out to be, it was something other than what it really was, to lend support to her claim that they are crazy and that they are nasty and they're not good for my child. The other thing is, a report was made because we saw something that was abusive. After watching more than 3 years, speaking to the police department and just giving a heads up, never ever asking them to do anything, but just to check. And all of a sudden, there is a file number, but the case is not there. And the way that it was written up, only because they didn't have another way to do it, was as if the person who was abusive was a caregiver to the father. She was not a caregiver. She was just a significant other. And it was found on the financial level that there were some things that were wrong. And it was also found that the police department had it. But we don't know where anything else was left with the case. Nobody seems to know, but there is a record of the report of an abuse. So where is it? Is it connected to that mother with that child because she infiltrates and is all in the business? Oh, the police department gonna pay for it. Understand. Please understand. Nothing was done to destroy family, but everything was done to make things right. You deserve to live and have a beautiful life, just like anybody else. And when there are those people who are bent on controlling from the inside and out, because see, in jail, because of their connections, police-wise and authority-wise, things happen on the inside too. Not only that, it gives a record that you don't even deserve. And sometimes you can get so tired, be like, you know what? And you just go, well, because you're tired. And it's amazing how that mom, her mother, and siblings all love you. Love you, love you, love you. At least that's what they express. How is it that they could love you so much and know the very hell that their family member put you through? I asked one of them, if anything happened to him, how would I know? And you know what she said? This was the sibling. Oh, believe me, you'll be the first to know. So, what is death? Is it the killing of a person while they're alive and remain alive? What's the greater death? Or is it the killing of a person to their final death? Which is more powerful? You decide. The killing of a person while they're alive and still remain alive. Some people get a thrill out of that. Death is not good enough. They want to see somebody die as they go, just to pay a price of support, child support, and make statements. Until I get every dime, you ain't gonna have nothing. Forgetting that the child was made between the two of you. Forgetting about all of what was given from the beginning all the way through. Just undocumented because it was something that wasn't required. Said it wasn't a requirement. But their troubled mind, it extends not just on you, the dad, but is carried through to your extended family by blood too. So if it doesn't hit you, it hits the rest. But it will always hit you because we are all connected. So your oldest daughter infiltrated by other family members, but that mom, the mother of your younger son, she talks to your daughter all the time. And your son talks to his sister all the time. And they use the both of them and her older one to get back at you. A recap. Anything it is that you do, moving along to live and to breathe and to have gainful employ, to live unbothered, almost an impossibility from the inside out. Seems like something that no one could unravel, a web that nobody could just take apart. But time tells it all, and God shows it all. So we can look at how there's no communication with that son, mom, their family members, with the support who tries to keep the lines of communication open. Because there's always that plot and plan in place to make it look like we're not worth it. You and me and you. Not even your oldest daughter, too. Imagine the labeling. And then even from your daughter's mom, the baby. Seemingly a good thing, but not. To some degree looks well, but to other degrees, no. She plays a part in all of it too. Then your oldest daughter's mom, you already know what she has done. And that other family member between you and me too, infiltrating on that end. Like, what in the world can we do? What in the world could we do? God, no matter what, the police department has to be accountable because the filing is right there with them. We may not know where it went, that report, but it is there. And just like the mother of your son says, oh, the police department gonna pay for it. The police department gonna pay for it. Every turn of event. Haven't heard that term used so much out of the mouth of a person over my lifetime. She's right, though. The police department is gonna pay for it. And not only that, they are going to pay for it. God reigns on the just and on the unjust. And remember that those persons who seemingly were just and go to church and fall on the floor and sing the songs of Zion, even those that we knew from back in the day, the Gerards, the Marys, the Tinas, and there's a few more others too. Grew up with them. Whatever it is that they know and they never said that could have helped along the way, they're going to pay for it too. Some names we didn't mention, but they know who they are. Everybody doesn't always expound or express things the way that people want them to. But it doesn't mean that right can't come out of the situation. Some people just don't have the patience to hear. Some people don't have the patience to understand. Some people don't want to have it. Some people have it, but they just choose not to because they're too busy on the rampage trying to get all the money, the ducats, and the tangible things too. They don't have a heartstring. They don't care. They don't care about me. They don't care about you. And probably never ever have, but pretended along the way. I can take the time out and speak about it from the church doors to the pulpit to the floor. I don't have a thing to hide. But what I have to say is I love you. Always have. And the ways that you think about me, I can't change them right now. And know that I said the last time that I saw you, Idona is not your mother. Although your son's mother allows him to speak to her and may tell you that he speaks to me, he doesn't. And maybe others may say they speak to me who are in all of that circle. They don't. But I have to make that clear again. And I do have the truth. I do have everything. And I have to say, the power of attorney stands, as we spoke the last time. Come what may. Come what may. Power of attorney holds right here. I got you. And that is the truth. Somebody else might have come along and you might have been in a way where you might not have been able to make a decision or did something where, when you're on your own or by yourself, it's hard sometimes. They don't have a right to do anything without contacting your next of kin. So what they've been doing all these years is trying to make it like you don't have one. And you do. And you know that. And here's the truth. You don't have to take the brunt of anything from me. Mommy might have wanted me to be happy, and you took all that weight on yourself. You don't have to. I'm standing right here for the both of us. Let the chips fall where they may, because I trust and we trust in God. And He will make the way. And guess what? He already made the way. So, you are free. And anytime you want to come, you can come. I'm not worried about the church. I'm not worried about those people because they will pay. Not only just for what they've done to you and me, but all the rest of our core family. I love you. I love you, sis.